Hi there. Okay, so this is the first video that I'm doing for Unit 1 programming on the HNC. So if that isn't you, then this probably won't make a lot of sense to you. What I want to show you is how to make a basic Windows form for your quiz application. Now please bear with me in this video because I haven't actually done this on 2019 yet, and I am recording this video in a little bit of a hurry. So apologies that it's not up to my usual mediocre standard. So what I want to do is I want to open Visual Studio 2019. You may well be watching this from home and you may well be thinking, well Paul, you've got all this fancy pants software here in front of you, but I haven't got anything. Well, you can have this right now. This is Visual Studio 2019, the Community Edition. Freely available, free to download. Download it down your fiber optic super broadband connection and get to this screen here. Okay, so I'm going to go to create a new project. Okay, and what I want to do is I'm going to make this quiz, and remember this is only the starter for it. I'm going to make this as a Windows form. Windows forms have been around for I don't know, 15 years or so now, and they have been superseded by this thing here, the Windows Presentation Framework app, which is a little bit more web-like, but Windows Forms is a good solid platform. And so here we are, Windows Forms, this is what we want. We go to Next, and we go Quiz App, or whatever you want to call it. Just accept all the defaults and go to Create. So you should see something like this, and if you've been with me for the last 5 weeks in the lectures, what you'll notice immediately is that things are a little bit different here. Now if I go to the Solution Explorer, that's all pretty much the same, but over here the elephant in the room is this gigantic form, okay, which was not present when you were making a console app. So the form is the primary user interface of this application, and if I just click Start, it should just pop up with the form on the screen. Now remember, it's the first time I've run this, so sometimes it's a little bit slow, but it's actually quite quick, probably because there's hardly any code. And there is a lovely Windows form. I can kill that here on the X button or there on the red button to stop the debugger. Okay, so that's the form. Now, unlike a console app, we've got different bits of code to worry about here. So the C# code is in this bit here, program.cs, which stands for C#. Okay, there's also form 1 here, which is this form. And there's also some frightening stuff here, form1.designer.cs, which is all this. And this is hello, Windows Form Designer generated code. In the assignment called Prog02, I'm interested in you documenting code in sections like this, not in user-generated code, application-generated code like this, because you didn't do it, it's created automatically. So this is the sort of stuff that I'm interested in. In this video, we're just going to put a button on and put a message up, and that'll be it basically, but it will hopefully get you started. So I've got a toolbox, and I shall pin that toolbox onto the screen. Okay, I go to the form, designer there, and my toolbox is still initializing, so just bear with me. And what I want to do is have some common controls, and I just want to put a button on basically. So button, there we are. Drag it on, size it, double click it, and you go into the code for it there. Okay, I can close that again, it'll take me back to the designer. And this, so the form is an object, this button is an object as well, and this object has properties. I can't see those at the moment, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on it and go to properties, and that should bring up a new dialog box here, and the text says button 1. How about click me? Click me. Now, we have been talking about things like event-driven programming, and so this button is basically part of an event-driven programming language, which is part of the C# libraries. But C# is also procedural and object-orientated and event-driven at the same time. But if I double-click on that, it takes me to this event here called button 1 click. So this is a click event, but the button can have other events such as, rolling your mouse over, pressing the right-hand button on the mouse, things like that. Those are just some that spring to mind. There's lots of them, but this is the code that happens when I click on it. Now I should be able to do a message box here and just pop up a little message, and it will say, you just had to click me. And I'll end that with a semicolon, as is fashionable. And I've got a couple of little issues here. So, I'm just doing what you should be doing, basically. And what I'm doing is that I'm sort of troubleshooting as I go along. And I've just got a slight formatting issue there, so I'm just going to pause the video for a second while I sort it out. Hold on. Hi, welcome back. So I just changed the text there slightly to you just had to click me. And what I was doing was I was invoking this message box class, but I wasn't actually giving it a method. And so what I did was message box, hit the dot or period key, and it was show. Okay, we're all happy now. So if I run this, because this is all about the form and the objects on the form, I've got my form up and running, and I've got a button there, and the code means that when I click it, it pops up with a message. So this is classic sort of event-driven programming. And as ever, I can close it here or here, which I will do. I just want to show you one other thing which will be very helpful to you, and I'm going to put something on here called a tab. So let me just find that. Tab control, sorry about the delay there. Put that on there. I've done that because my recommendation is that you create this quiz on a single form with tabs. And I know that previously students have had all sorts of forms popping up all over the place to do the questions and the scores and all that sort of thing. And it is rather difficult. So you'll see in this tab control, I've moved the button onto tab page 1. What happens when I run this? Well, a tab is obviously just a tab, isn't it? It's a way of having lots of space in a small space on a user interface by having different pages. There's the button. Does it still work? Sure it does. Okay, so we close that. If I want to add another tab, there are ways to do that. I go add tab. Add tab. All day I've made too many, so I'll just remove that one or what have you. So this is how you should do your quiz, and you could call this page the intro page or something like that, and there's a way to change the text on here. Okay, you could call that intro, something like that. Okay, so having added these different tabs here, I've got the basis of a really good little piece of software. Okay, thanks for watching.